One two one two one two. Hello, 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 all. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Bad Game Hall of Fame, and welcome to Demolition Man for the 3DO interactive multiplayer. I got this game lined up for y'all. It's a doozy, all right. And I do intend to try and one credit clear this for whatever the hell that's worth. We'll see if I still have it in me. Obviously, this is based on the movie starring Stallone. Frank Stallone? No, Steven Stallone, the lesser famous Stallone. Oh, I forgot how loud this intro gets. Let me lower that a little bit while I'm talking. We got a 1994 release date on this, supposedly. There were versions of this game across the SNES, Genesis. Was there a Game Boy version? I should probably research beforehand, but none. All pale in comparison to the 3DO version, which had actual involvement from the likes of Stallone, as we will very soon see within the game itself. In fact, let's cut right to that and cut to some footage in action. Some footage stripped straight from the film. We're going to be seeing a bit of this, and unfortunately, I do believe a lot of it desyncs in emulation. Let's toy with those audio levels a little bit. So we'll be getting a mix of cutscenes from the movie, and as you're seeing here, some superimposed, some green screen action with Stallone. Gameplay demo in progress. In fact, let's go ahead, skip that real quick before we jump into gameplay. One thing I gotta do is hold the R button and rotate the analog stick around a few times. Was that 7? If you see 7 blood splatters on the left-hand side, that means we've enabled the blood code. Blood codes in vogue at the time, likes of Mortal Kombat and what have you. And we can enable an additional bit of gore in this game. There's some blood splatters during the gallery shooting segments. Let's also take a look at our difficulty options. Let's see what levels we can play on here. What if we want a nice, relaxing sort of playthrough today? Let's set it to easy.
You suck.
Well, that's not very nice at all. Frankly, that's kind of mean. But I'll take it as like trying to encourage me. I'll take it as Stallone trying to psych me up. Let's see.
You got a job to do. Why don't you go do it?
Well, yeah, you're rushing me along. I'm trying to show the options menu, Stallone. And what if I decide to set it to hard?
What are you trying to do? Take away my job? I'm the demo man.
Well, he has a point there, and I'm not trying to put anyone out of work in these trying times, so...
You're doing a good deed.
Well, thank you, for whatever that's worth. Video Game King asks, how did the developers get the green screen footage? I can imagine them convincing Stallone's people that doing an FMV would be worth it. FMV was a hot thing in the 90s after all, but it seems like they got their green screen footage in the movie itself. I would say this is shot specifically for the game. I think Stallone knew full well what he was getting into. He knew full well that he was doing stuff for a video game. They would have been sold on that at that point in time. Smuggleware asks, I hope this has a 3 shells minigame. Sorry to disappoint. It does have light gun support, though, that I can't get emulated properly. I don't think 4DO. I think 4DO is like a very good emulator. It does like a lot of stuff, and it runs the 3DO like almost perfectly, but it's never had light gun support integrated properly. So we'll have to miss out on that, and I'll have to control the shooting galleries by means of controller here. But I think I'll make 2. Tunnels, which is actually more proper first-person shooting, Wolfenstein 3D style, as you would say. Or more like, well, we'll see when we get there. And then there's a car chase level. And finally, we have fighting. So this is one of those multi-genre games, a jack-of-all-trades, master of none. And that's about all we need to see here. I did set it to normal, I think, so I do have that set correctly. Do I need to do the blood code again? I do not. Alright, nothing left to do but to do it. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, it's set in a not-so-distant future, not so far away at all, where political correctness has gone mad in some of the more dated elements of the movie. Dennis Leary doing his Dennis Leary shtick. Talking about how, if I want to eat a piece of meat and let the blood run down my jaw, blah, 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 America. But the major conceit is the idea that, what if we had a utopia? What if we rid the world of crime? And what would that society look like? And then what would happen if he reintroduced crime, if he reintroduced murder, death, kill by means of Wesley Snipe, and who would be the man to take the Snipe out of action? That would be Stallone as the Demolition Man. I don't remember actually any of the character names from the movie, so you're gonna have to just take the actor names for what they're worth. And there's also a Sandra Bullock in there. And what's his face from Law and Order, original Law and Order? Lenny Briscoe's partner. John Spartan, I'm being told the name of Stallone's character is. Anyway, this plot deals with stuff like being cryogenically frozen and unthawed in the future, and so on and so forth. We'll get some of those beats over the course of the gameplay, but more importantly, we're gonna beat some baddies down here. We can shoot open a few crates here for some power-ups. Mostly just health and extra lives in these early levels, I think. So yeah, I'm controlling this by means of analog stick map to D-pad. I think that's the best way for me to do these sort of controls. Most of these shooting gallery screens will not be like this, and will not be as straightforward as shooting dudes popping up. We'll see as early as this screen that most of these screens have a sort of gimmick to them. You'll also see how ridiculous the magazines are for a gun. We have like 45 bullets, locked, loaded, ready to go. Which means that like the magazine like should be like down to Stallone's feet as you see him in these cutscenes, but not quite. This game also does a thing where you'll see a lot of enemies pop up in the very far distance, which I'm not always a fan of. Like elements in the background that you like you have to squint to see, like on the ladder back there. Or even that dude's like a little bit like in egregious territory, I would say. I could do a manual reload, but I never remember to. Up, and it bit me. That reload is what got me. I said one credit clear, not one life clear. Right, so we're still good. It's still okay. It's still alright. Oh, I forgot that start pauses the cutscenes, does not skip this cutscene. Alright, we know where they're gonna pop up from. You can predict most of this. The grenades are definitely the biggest risk here. They'll do quite a number on us. And again, I got cut off guard with that reload, but... There we go. Could have sworn I shot that life. But, hit detection is maybe not the best here. There could be some hitbox issues. You can tell, like, some amount of, like, time and effort and, like, craft went into this game. It's all just in service of... What we're gonna see shortly is kind of a dud, and here we go. Here's an example of one of those gimmicks there, where... You have to know to shoot that part of the blimp specifically, otherwise you'll just be subject to an endless volley of missiles coming at you. Ah, here we go. Here's my favorite part of this game is, from all the green screen footage I got, they never put Stallone in front of a treadmill, so whenever you see him running, it's just him doing like the running in place, you know, lift those knees. 1, 2, 1, 2. And this right here, that is the most egregious enemy placement in the game, maybe. That is like literally 4 pixels in the way back of the screen that you... on a CRT, may not be even able to spot at all. Can someone tell me how the volume levels are, by the way? If this gun sound is, like, super loud compared to my voice, or if I mostly got it balanced out now. Just hoping for health inside that box, but no such luck. Alright, manual reloads. Let's do them. Stop this plane before it even starts shooting at us? Not quite. Good enough, though. Also gotta make sure that we're reloading as we're fading out, because we'll start the next screen, we'll start the next gallery with the amount of bullets we had. Oh my god, I can't get enough of these run animations. They're so choice. And seamless transition. You may not realize this, but we actually transitioned from FMV footage to, like, real footage from the movie now. And are we back? I can't tell. Are we back to it now? Video Game King asks, how is Stallone firing 50-plus bullets into a revolver? Well, I mean, the 3DO light gun is a revolver, but we can see he's using some sort of, what, probably like a Beretta. I believe this dude on the left is like, can for whatever reason take more bullets than the average baddie, despite sharing sprites in common with the average baddie. Oh, even with the reload, even though I thought I had a beat on it, but luckily, I know there's a health there. And luckily we get our health recharged between every screen, otherwise this would not be doable on 1 credit, I don't think. Oh, we just skirted by just barely on that one. I think I had like all of 2 pixels left to my name right there, but we make do on the Bad Game Hall of Fame. I don't know what the audio at the end of that clip is. It gets like suddenly very intense, like he's really exerting himself, but it's just for like him stepping to the top. Alright, there are power-ups in this game, and I just shot one. That gives us rapid fire, where I can, if I hold the B button instead of the A button to shoot, I could spray and pray a little bit. I could drag across the screen. But there's really no need for that. We'll conserve that if we can. If that even carries over. I don't recall offhand. Not that it matters, because I think this is the last shooting gallery part of this section of the game, so I don't think we'll be back to that perspective for a minute. Yes, okay, yeah, I'm correct in my assessment. We're gonna get a bit more...
You're under arrest. Arrest? You up to your ass again.
Hopefully I'm allowed to play these cutscenes. Hopefully this isn't an issue with Twitch. I mean, whatever. The compression is so bad on this, it shouldn't be picked up by any copyright detecting bot or whatever. Anyway, the crux of this, and what the game kind of like skipped over a little bit, is that Wesley Snipes' character here supposedly has hostages. Little does Stallone know, the hostages are all already dead. So at the end of this intense fight we're about to get into, Stallone's going to get accused of letting the hostages get killed, being negligent in his duties. And here we are in fighting. And there are tricks to the fighting here. I'm going to concede 1 round of this. I'm going to basically I'm going to try to play this as if I was playing like an actual fighting game. With 3 buttons and 2 blocks. 2 separate blocks. We have high block and low block. We have kick, punch. It's all in the mind. So we basically have highs, mids, and lows. If you can count the kick as a low, I guess. And then we have crouch moves as well. But you can see we're not doing so hot here. That, for what it's worth, Snipes' AI, it's not all that bad. So, we're gonna try that again. And I'm not gonna throw a single fucking strike. Let's see. It still isn't easy, but basically, you want to parry. You want to be parrying this whole time. That is the secret to success here, as it were. I say as I'm not doing super hot. I know a lot of people have issues with this. They're doable. I'm just doing a bad job right now. A very bad job, as a matter of fact. I was having a lot easier time, like, gaming his AI yesterday, as I did manage just on 1 credit, just by complete accident. Ah, man. Alright. Well. Dr. Omni saying, I like how they hold their fists in front of their faces to sort of obscure that they're stunt actors. This is the real Stallone. I do believe we're getting the genuine article with Stallone here. I'm definitely not so sure about Snipes. Alright, now he's basically frozen up. In fact, he's completely frozen up. Let's see if I can ruin this by... Yep. If all else fails, try to sweep kick. That's also something I've learned. Yes, this is on normal. Man, he's getting way better about just predicting what I'm gonna do. And I cannot predict his moves at all. But you can tell when we do successfully parry here, we do like massive damage to him. Yeah, I don't like fighting games at all. I've never been good at a single one of them. And I don't care to learn how to get better at them. Yeah, this one credit run went to hell, like, immediately, huh? You know what I was so proud of myself for, like, actually learning to play a game before stream. God, yeah, whenever you fuck up the sweep, whenever he dodges the sweep and counters, he hits you with an attack that, like, knocks you on your ass, does a decent chunk of damage. Yeah, I'm like trying to shuffle between both blocks, hoping that I catch him on one of them. But that's obviously not working out. The sweep kicks are the only thing that's been effective in this. And even still, when I miss, it is such a major blow that... Yeah, no. Well, at least we'll get to see the continue screen. For whatever that's worth. And yes, this does do the thing. People are pointing out that the images of the characters are getting progressively bloodier. Yeah, this sucks ass. This is a bad fighting game, mini-game. Being aggressive is definitely better. I should drop my blocking strategy because clearly it's not doing anything for me except... Well, this isn't doing much for me either, as it turns out. All we need to do is get past this and then we can get back into other forms of gameplay. Alright. We've lucked into something here. We were so close. Well, we do have our one continue that we're allotted on normal mode, so might as well use it now.
Oh, I'm so scared.
If we say no, then we get chewed out by Stallone. I almost forgot that we would have to decline to trigger that, to trigger some of the game's most notable cutscenes. Oh, man. I'm gonna, since the one credit dream is already dead at this point, I'm gonna start blatantly cheating in just a minute here, because fuck this. Vroom. Now, how about... What would happen if I block that? Oh, now you're not gonna do it, huh? You're just gonna admire my form. Oh, now you do it. Hey, if the game's gonna effectively cheat, I'm gonna effectively cheat. I don't pretend to be good at games, and except for the times where I do, which I would totally pretend to be good at this at the beginning of stream. But, I don't know, this uppercut thing is working out pretty well, actually. Never mind the fact that he does way more damage to us when we whiff, it's fatal, basically, but... This is basically how I play Mortal Kombat as well. I just go for the uppercut. Oh, thank Christ for finally past that. The nationwide nightmare is over. There's that Stallone scream. It's gotta get into every movie, right? Today we're drinking Simply Peach, all natural. Peach juice. Who'd have thought, kid? It's like lemonade except peaches.
Sergeant Spartan, you've been sentenced to 70 years, sub-zero rehabilitation in the California Cryo Penitentiary for the involuntary manslaughter of 30 innocent civilians. You will be placed in cryostasis for the duration.
Yep, so this is, I think the longest cutscene in the game, and by the end of it's going to be way out of sync, but you're getting the plot points, you're getting the cliff notes for the movie here, effectively. Except for that where they totally neglect to show Wesley Snipes being put into the freezing process. And basically just most of the story beats. But, imagine just playing this and not having any context for the movie. That's how I feel about most movie games. You know, movie-to-game adaptations. That's the question I always ask myself is, how well does game work without context, without knowing, say 2030, that's the year this takes place, so it's not too distant from now. In 1996, that felt like forever in the day, but
Emergency code 187. Emergency code 187. Locating stopped code. Murder, death, kill. Murder, death, kill. Location, Cryo Prison parking area. Cryo Prison, the 730.
Phoenix. Simon.
that is a full second DC. I was waiting for dialogue so I could see how badly we got it here, but and by the end of this, it'll probably be several seconds out of sync, and that's emulation. You know, it's not perfect. It is what it is, folks. We're here for the gameplay primarily, not to just ogle at these decently compressed cutscenes. These aren't, you know, horrendous. This is acceptable quality, especially for back in the day. What for, when did I say this came out? I already forgot. Was this 95, this game? Don't expect me to know shit.
The conditions of your parole are
I think 1995.
SAPD and immediate assignment to the
I'm gonna say 1995. Version interactive banger, I know that much.
You can go back into cryostasis.
Our computer has already examined every feasible scenario resulting from...
I wonder if pausing, using the 3DO's audio player, and then unpausing.
Appearance of Simon Phoenix.
Phoenix is going for a gun, plain and simple.
The only place a person can even view a gun in this city is...
I wonder if that resynced it at all.
Welcome to the San Angeles Museum.
Possibly?
Home sweet home.
Well, there we go. That's all we gotta do is every several seconds is hit that pause button.
Give me 10 minutes.
The armory exhibit is now seen.
Because now we're up to the good stuff. Now we're back to shooting. This is what y'all came here for.
Help is imminent.
So this is a museum of history where Wesley Snipes hopes to find some guns. And boy howdy will he find them. People pointing out that even the top of the stream had the October 1994 release date, where I researched it beforehand and forgotten promptly. Alright, so what we're going to see here is an example of the game not playing its hand, that you can sit here and wait for him to pop out all day, and I think he does occasionally where you can shoot him, and maybe even, you know, get points for doing it. But ultimately, what you're going to have to do, if you want to make any progress, is shoot that until it reacts. This game is more interested about shooting scenery than it is about shooting anything else in particular. As he gets behind here, you might think, oh, shoot his head, shoot the missile turret, but no, what you have to be conscious of is this bomb bit coming out this Nazi plane that's slightly subtly moved in the background, even though it's too kind of dark to tell. That's what you have to keep your eyes open for. Are these moments from the movie, kinda sorta, very extrapolated in video game fashion. Now, as another example of needing to be aware of scenery, we're shooting this control panel past a certain point, and then shoot that to end stage. That's all it comes down to in this game. That's what expertise of this game looks like, is knowing what the environmental gimmicks on each screen is, and for the most part we'll do just fine with that. Until such point as we gotta do this bullshit again. I think this is 2 of 4 fighting screens in this game. And the third one barely counts, luckily, so we had that nice little reprieve. We got ourselves a nice scrolling background here with some 3D effect to it. You can tell it's not the smoothest effect when they, when they update the frame. If this was just a static image, it would probably look better, to be honest, if they didn't try to do this rotational foreground moving at the same time and all these different layers to it. They could have just done a longer single image thing and it would have been just fine. People claiming, Foxact specifically saying that is not Stallone. They definitely had him in the studio, they definitely had him doing stuff. Maybe this fighting is not Stallone. People speculating it might be Frank Stallone. Anytime he can get his brother work. I hope that Frank is like the parents' favorite. That would just make my day. That Steven comes home and he's just like, "Ma, I got another award for my acting and my writing and directing." And they're just like, "Oh, but Frankie." Frankie, tell Steven about your new investment. Y'all ever seen the celebrity workout tape with Stallone's mom and how she fakes having the same lip thing, the same nerve damage as Steven does, so that way people are more able to quickly identify her as being Stallone's mom? You can look that shit up. There was a celebrity parents fitness tape that came out at some point in the 80s. I think it was even a series where they would get the parents of A-list actors to do fucking these workout regimens, and the appeal was like, look at the parents of famous people.
But you're asking me to disobey a direct order. I'm to escort you to the cryo prison.
Now, if you do what you gotta do, I know what I gotta do. I gotta nail that maniac and put him on ice, or that's where I'm gonna be. Enhance your comm, John Spark. Look, I've had it with enhancing my comm.
They're strategically cutting around all the swearing in this movie, and the running gags around swearing. They're also probably cutting around the Taco Bell gag in this.
The reason why your citywide manhunt didn't work was because Phoenix was in the one place that you can't monitor. I want to go down there. I want to find Phoenix. I want to put him in a hurt locker.
Alright, here we go. Introduction to... Wait, do we have a little bit more to do before we get to the good stuff? Do you have a little bit more rail shooting, gallery shooting here? Also, I wonder if the game dropped the difficulty when I flunked out of normal difficulty the first time, if it lowered it, because that last fight was pretty easy, all things considered. Smibble Bear says, "I really hope Dennis Leary is in this." Yes, we mercifully are spared the Leary experience. Alright, here we go, folks. So, welcome to first-person shooting. Welcome to Tunnels. We no longer have to worry about reloading. We no longer have to worry about cover or environmental whatever. This is first-person shooting distilled to its very essence. You walk, you strafe, you shoot. And pointedly, we are looking for, on our little heads-up display though, we are looking for a yellow dot signifying Wesley Snipes. But without this to sort of guide us, this is maybe one of the worst environments ever seen in a video game. This is maybe one of the most nondescript, boring, bland, impossible to parse series of tunnels ever presented in a video game. It'll reveal itself what we need to do in time once I get closer to that yellow dot. But with absolutely zero fucking landmarks, and every corner looking identical to the last, you would need a map, a GPS, a compass, and someone giving you directions, like, via headset to figure out where the hell you're going here. Unfortunately, we'll just have to settle for, like, 2 out of 5 there. And again, there's a yellow dot. There we go. The yellow dot will move around, as it is Wesley Snipes. And you may think the goal here would be, now we found Wesley Snipes, to engage him in a shootout, take him out, end this once and for all. No. No, in fact, shooting Wesley Snipes is very counterproductive because he's invincible. The game does not spell this out. You get points every time you shoot him. What the game does not inform you of is that the mission here is to tail him. It's to let him live and let him guide you to the end of these tunnels. Down a path that would otherwise be impossible to determine. So every time we get too close, we just gotta back off of him. Every time there are enemies present, we gotta just hope we don't accidentally wing Wesley Snipes. Otherwise, it stalls the whole process out. How close can I get to him? You can basically be like right behind him and just don't shoot him. Don't accidentally hit him. And yes, the frame rates, as you can tell here, are spectacular. We can get a slight boost. We can get a couple extra frames for putting it away. But then, if we let Wesley Snipes get too far away, it becomes that much more difficult to track him. Also, he's like obsessed with shooting us right now, so we are going way off course, unfortunately. All I want to do is reset him. All I want to do is... How do I get him off my dick right now? I think we just run around in circles, basically, until he gets bored. Until he loses the scent. And we gotta pick back up on his. Frappe Fiasco, tuning in just now, clearly saying this is an FPS. I thought it was a light gun game. It shifts between. It is multi-genre. We are just in one of the FPS sections right now. Oh, for Pete's sake. Alright, Simon, we get it. You're a badass. Let's get behind him and let's hope that he just gets back to what he needs to be doing right now. He does go around in some circles. If you observe his patterns, if you were really like looking at the environments here and tracing his path, he does do some stalling. There's also like 50 goons we're about to just mow down as we turn this corner here. Hopefully that's sufficient. Yeah, if we can see him like round a corner, then we know he's leaving us be for the time being. And I'm trying to just speed this up by disabling the radar, hoping that somehow improves his movement speed as well, makes him walk a little bit faster. Hoping the game logic is tied to the frame rate in this case. Because yeah, you bring it up and you see that dip from... This is what, like 10 frames per second maybe? Possibly 12? Down to like 4 or 5 possibly. I'm eyeballing it, and it's probably not a very accurate number at all, but that's what it feels like. So yeah, certainly not the most exciting point in the game. And there's no other weapons to pick up here. No other anything to do here except the occasional other guy who pops up. We just so casually mow down. Imagine Doom where everything just died in one hit from the pistol. And it was only the Marines, the doomed Marines you had to fight. And they all just kind of approached you in a single file line. Oh, leave me be. I think what I need to do is I need to get behind him again. And maybe that is the best way. Also what I'm imagining is, imagine trying to speedrun this game and having to commit whatever the critical path here is, because I don't know if Simon needs to get there first. But if you could just trigger the end of this level by just going there, getting there on your own, by your own devices, somehow navigating all this, as impossible as that idea sounds to me right now. Ooh. Very smooth effect there. Yeah, we're not redoing all that. We are absolutely not redoing this entire section over again, so we are going to use and abuse Emulator Rewind. And our infinite magazine, our infinite well of ammo. Okay. Let's rewind a little bit further. Alright, we let Simon get a little ways ahead of us. I think we're near the end, though. In fact, let's just see what would happen if I didn't round this corner. Oh, he's coming back. And now he's backtracking himself. This has got to be the end here. This has got to be like we're just like rounding one more corner. Oh, thank you. Ooh, boy. Imagine playing this legit and black flagging on the last lap there and having to redo that entire section over again from the start. Because that's where we start you, by the way. You don't just pick up where you left off. Alright, the game goes into absolutely zero context about where this is, but this is the underground society, people who are free from the oppression of the utopia on the surface world, who are free from all the political correctness, who do have to suffer Dennis Leary stand-up. But they have lots of time to do cool stuff like mastering the art of the shuriken. Minor interactive background stuff here.
Does that mean we're going up? Let's go blow this guy.
Yeah, let's go blow Wesley Snipes. Alright, we did see on the option screen there's going to be a driving section in this game.
How nice. Must have been expecting me.
Some people are saying, yeah, I like this movie. It's a thinly veiled, this is the future liberals want whinge fest. Then the lyricist, Dennis Leary appears halfway in and rants for 5 minutes about how he wants to smoke and eat a burger. Yep. It's still a fun enough watch. Don't get me wrong, there's still moments in this movie of the action schlock variety. Trying to pause buffer to get the cutscenes to stay in sync a little bit again, but only does so much. So we're getting all the exciting parts of the car chase here. And then the rest of it is in our hands. And as you can imagine, the excitement will drop off slightly at that point. Alright, I'm going to show you all a trick here. This is a speedrun strat. If you get in the left-hand side, if you go where the incoming traffic is supposed to be, there's no incoming traffic. So, yeah, we got about, like 45, 60 seconds of this. So if anyone wants to ask any questions in the chat, I'll try to answer them. Ask me questions about bad games. You can try asking questions about this game. I'll see if I have any answers, but, might not. Video Game King. Maybe America starts driving to the left 12 years from now. Probably Fiasco past the car chase on the left-hand side. Past the car chase on the left-hand side. This is exciting. This is riveting fucking stuff, I know, so... And this is like, this isn't hard to find out. This isn't hard to, like, figure out the trick to this. Riddies, what's your favorite bad game movie? Do you mean favorite bad movie based on the game? I'm gonna assume that Alone in the Dark, Uvables, Magnum Opus. Actually, you know what? No, I'll give it House of the Dead, because it is, like, when they start cutting to, like, clips from the game, when they start cutting to, like, literal, like, fucking gameplay footage in the middle of, like, shootouts. Anyway, that was that whole driving section. That's all there is to it. And, this section here, this fight, all there is to this fight, this is a fight where this trick straight up works. Where you could win the entire fight just doing this. Because in this one fighting screen, Wesley Snipes does not have the means to jump over your kick. So he can sweep the leg ad infinitum. Or uppercut. Possibly. No, not as foolproof. Let's try doing some blocking. Let's try calling some of his shots, since I have some health here. There we go. It does seem like this is moving slightly slower than the previous fights. I feel like I have an easier time figuring out his tells right now. That said, that medium kick, I know I'm doing the right dodge for it. It just doesn't always work. Let's go back to what we know. Oh, finally, he actually can dodge the sweeping kick. I never seen him do that before in this stage. Let's do this with a little bit more health. End it with a leg sweep. Crap, a fiasco. And all this time I thought it was just a light gun game when it offers so much more.
Oh, this is bad. This is very bad. His access to cryo prison is about to defrost the entire multi-life wing.
Yeah, we definitely missed a few scenes here. 1 second, we're knocking him, like, off of a moving car, moving at, like, 60 miles per hour. The next, we're... He's gotten completely away and is about to hatch the final part of his scheme, so... So watch the movie if you're so inclined.
Oh, I hope my butt didn't look like that. Okay, what do we have left that's good, huh?
They're in the final stages of reanimation, sir.
Wilkes, Patrick. Jeffrey Dahmer? Wilkes, Patrick. Jeffrey...
Maniac to catch maniac.
Yeah, that's definitely a sync issue. 2 Jeffrey Dahmers? Do we immediately go into the next tunnel section here? Into the next full range first-person shooting section? This is a short game, in case you haven't figured it out. The fact that we're in the final acts of the movie here. Yes. Let's start by clearing out some enemies. Let's start by securing our spawn zone here. It is rare you see such reckless abandon in a first-person shooter as this. Or such wimps for grunts for baddies here. This environment has at least a few more tiles they use across the walls and such, but you're still hard-pressed to figure out where the hell you're going if you just like took this as it is. If you tried to play this as like an actual standard first-person shooter level, if you tried to make it from point A to point B. But we are just walking about. We are just wandering until... Ah, there we go. There's our yellow dot. He's made his appearance. He spawned in. I think there might be a thing where you need to kill a set number of enemies in order to convince Wesley to come out and play. No, it's okay. I don't actually want to fight. I was like stuck on the wall there. Alright, get ready for another, like, 3 minutes of standing behind Wesley Snipes. She mentioned Tommy Tallarico did the soundtrack to this game. Has a couple tracks going for it. But for the most part, especially during this, it's kind of so in the background so as to not even be noticed. Tommy Tallarico, by the way, is a... you may know him for Video Games Live and for his video game soundtracks. You may know him now for being involved in the ColecoVision Amico scam and perpetuating and propagating and advertising for a console that's not going to pan out at all. Built on a bedrock of lies. I met him at PRGE in 2017 or 2018. I can't remember years. I can't remember when things happened. Anyway, he big timed me. He gave me the I tried to like get a picture of him wearing my stupid cowboy hat, which I had been getting like everyone else at the convention to do. I got Frank Cifaldi, I got Rashad EB, I got the 8-bit guy of YouTube fame to all take pictures wearing my hats. But Tommy was only interested in talking about the Coleco Amico and kindly informed me where I could stick my hat, so... You know, that's alright. Not everyone can have a sense of humor. He is funny in those Mega 64 Game Wars sketches, though. In that series, I do have that on Blu-ray. From way back in the day. Can we put this radar away for a little bit? Get some frames. Oh, I've been saying Coleco. I meant to say it in television. Whatever. I mean, not whatever to you for correcting me. You're absolutely right to correct me. But, you know, it's just like dead brand. It's like that Atari VCS console coming out. I mean, coming out. Never gonna come out. How's that fucking blockchain, whatever cryptocurrency that Atari's doing? How's Atari token going for them? How's that hotel business coming along, you know? You know, if you're gonna have an ambient track in the background of your of your level, make sure there's not a countdown timer in it that doesn't actually apply to the gameplay, so you're not hearing the same countdown for 10 minutes every 30 seconds. Oh. Shooting action! Bang, bang, pow! Weep before the awesome might of this pistol. Our only weapon. The only weapon you need. Oh, the game is... the game was like controlling itself for a second there, and it was Simon pushing me along. Let's try not to die. Ah, well. And welcome to cheating, because we're not redoing the last 5 minutes of gameplay there. Let's go around this corner instead. Let's be proactive. Yeah, Simon's basically going around in circles right now, and oh, there's his goons. And there go all his goons. There's discussion of the Cooking Mama thing going on in chat. You can check my Twitter for updates on that. I'm committed to covering that story now in all of its untruthfulness. What's interesting about that game is it getting delisted and us not knowing why. All the BS, all the stuff that people have made up, all the fake Discord like tidbits and the connections to the Koch brothers and all that. It's just there's gonna be a fascinating story at the end of this. Just let it pan out, and I promise you, whatever the answer, whatever the reason why like this whole thing happened, will reveal itself in time, and it'll be sufficiently interesting. We don't need the whole elements of like it's crypto mining on the Switch, which the Switch can't even do because it does not have like any processing power whatsoever. But if you saw it in a Discord screenshot or a screenshot on V, it must be true. Simon is not letting us off the hook. Do we actually have to shoot him this time? Did they change the rules on us from the previous level? Nope, nope, he is actually changing direction at this point. Oh, but then he... around that corner is where we fucked up. There we go. Gotta know what motivates a Wesley. Because it sure as hell ain't paying his taxes. Am I right, guys? Huh? 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 Hey, what did he get? Why did he go to jail in this movie? Is it because of the IRS? Ah. Alright, let's let him get away for a minute, so we don't accidentally agitate him as we have to shoot his cronies. I guess there weren't any of his cronies to deal with around that corner. Getting applauded for my awesome and topical humor in the chat here. Thank you, thank you. I'll be here all night. Tip your bartender, tip your waitress. No. I do not accept that reality. I will substitute my own in place of it. I did all that not even looking at the gameplay, not even looking at the full frame, just looking at the radar. Because I'm just looking for those red dots to disappear. And that's why I know it's safe. It is not safe right now. We're getting chased by snipes here. Let's put some distance. I think when he laughs like that... Okay, there we go. We are dancing on the razor's edge right now when it comes to health. I think I fired one too many shots. Let's see. One shot, kill the baddie, and yeah, there we go. Those of you disappointed in me for using rewind, I would say go ahead, play this game yourself without cheating, and get back to me when you are 5 minutes into this section where all you're doing, or all you're meant to do, is just follow behind another character leading you through this maze, and the game decides to pull a fast one on you and send you right back to the beginning. Luckily, we still have 10 minutes on the clock, though, so it's, it's... Please tell me we're close to the end. Ah, no, nope. Remember when I thought I could do this on one credit, and then the one fighting sequence beat the shit out of me? Yeah. Are there good 3DO first-person shooters? This one has like the worst version of Doom, or no, there's definitely a worse version of Doom than the 3DO version, right? My mind is like completely numb right now, so don't expect me to be like remembering stuff or speaking authoritatively on anything. This 3DO has killing time, right? Has at least a version of killing time. That game's alright. That's all I got. It's on you. Make your own jokes during this time, folks. Don't stand so close to me. Again, I have to imagine that, I have to hope that if I commit this route to memory, if I could waste years of my life memorizing this, like, completely identical maze, these interchangeable hallways, and just, like, figure out where the end of the stage is, that if you could just beeline it to there and skip having to play follow the leader. If there was a speed strat for this, that would definitely be a point of focus for any speed run for this game, potentially. Shouldn't have shot. Shouldn't have gotten so close. Okay, yes. Lone woman who did the... I can't remember her name. I follow her on Twitter. She's cool. And she knows her stuff about game dev. One woman ported Doom to 3DO. The odds were against her. But, very super productive. I'm going to have to do an article about all that. I know it's been recounted. I know Stop Skeletons for Fighting did a pretty decent job of recounting that whole story, too. Rebecca Heineman, thank you to the chat. Thank you to Foxhack. This has to be over soon, right? This, like... Oh, thank the maker. Alright, folks, it is now safe to look at the screen again if you're getting motion sick with all that head tilting and the strafing and so on and so forth. Now all you have to do is survive a couple more gallery sections. Is there scenery I could shoot here to reveal, like, power-ups? I don't think so in these sections.
Countdown to reanimation. Prisoner batches 219, 418,
Well, let's pause. Let it resync. Or maybe not. It was worth a shot. Do we get one more gallery shooter before we go to the final fighting game segment? I think we're going to drop directly into it from here. Let's start saying if I wanted to watch the movie, I'd watch the movie. All this horrible quality movie footage in a terrible game. Yes. I definitely understand that sentiment. I don't know, this was still novel for a period of time. It's like, you know, the magic of, like, having a movie on disc. Who'da thunk it? Little did we know that we put whole movies on disc at some point. And I should mention, for those of you who tuned in late, all the desync here is emulator end.
Is it cold in here, or is it just me?
There wasn't any audio attached to that. And we have another one of those rotational backgrounds here. Where again, it would honestly be better if we just had one long scrolling background. Oh, I jumped. I blocked when I should have jumped. That's alright though. I get the feeling that the game did turn itself down to easy after our first continue. I feel like that is the way the game works. Which is unfortunate. That or it's just the first fighting sequence is like needlessly difficult when compared to all the rest. He has health advantage on this for now. He has life advantage on us for now. What would happen if we did it this way? Yeah, I'm not even pretending to care or try anymore. Let's just get this over with. End it with a punch to the gut, why don't we? Still better fighting than Human Killing Machine for whatever that's worth, but... And that is the whimper this game ends on. Are we gonna get the full gore ending here where Wesley Snipes gets Sub-Zero'd? There we go. Happy end. Well, we got through it, folks. We had a few more hiccups than I expected, but I did get to show off the cool driving stage strategy. And I didn't need to cheat to get through any of the gallery shooting segments. Only the fighting game segment and the FPS segment, so only half the game I had to cheat, basically. And he gets the girl we barely got to know over the course of this game. We didn't get to watch their cyber sex scene.
Why? Are all fluid transfer activities like this?
Better.
Better? My.
I think I'm gonna like the future.
Now that you've demolished everything.
Get it? Be well!
Good job. You saved the town, you saved the people, you saved everybody, and Phoenix is gone. Bravo.
I don't know if you get different ending dialogues based on what difficulty you play at, but I also don't care to find out, so... There we go, top of the pops right there. Best there's ever been, best there ever was, best there ever will be, damn it.
Attention. Attention. Cryoprisoner defrosting reanimation sequence.
Let's fast forward through this. There's probably not going to be anything at the end of this, right? These credits are up on Moby Games. You can read them there. A lot of people worked on this game, for whatever that's worth. I'm sure they're all very passionate. I'm sure a lot of them are even very competent. Just maybe not the best design document. Maybe just not the best implementation. Team Demolition. Where's the team t-shirt? I'd pay good money on eBay to have a Team Demolition t-shirt. To have a vintage. Anyway, that was Demolition Man. I expect that to be a little bit shorter, but, you know, we came in like 8 minutes over estimate. This means 8 less minutes of Carmageddon, which I did manage to get up and running. We did a Patreon poll, by the way. That's why we played Demolition Man. And that's why we are now playing Carmageddon 64. So I really set myself up here for a burn. So Carmageddon 64, contrary to popular belief, is not the 64th game in the Carmageddon series. It's the second. Or to say it's a conversion of 2 to the N64. I don't believe the main menus are actually supposed to operate this fast. I think this is not a game that's emulated super well. In fact, I had some non-insignificant audio issues with it that I hopefully have resolved by this point. Don't mind me just loading a save here. So Carmageddon, for those of you who don't know, was a driving racing game, originally for PCs, that was controversial in its time because you would mow down pedestrians over the course of gameplay. Here on the N64, here in the NTSC release, they are now zombies, out for brains, so, you know, you can sleep a little less rough knowing that you're not mowing down innocent civilians or what have you. You know, very death racy. Titus handled this port work. They of Superman 64 and many others. Hold on, real quick. I want to really highlight this turn here. Oh well, the other cars aren't going to want me to do it. Then again, the other cars barely have AI, so you approach this. You're meant to go right first. If you go left, you're setting yourself up for a fall. Just so. But you can see the arrows going in either direction. Did that car just drive off the face of the earth? It sure did. Well, that much easier for me. There are also various power-ups you're picking up all the while here. Most of them serve no practical benefit whatsoever. Oh no, fuck me. We already ruined the whole run. This race is already lost because I neglected to pass one of the checkpoints in just a precise manner, in just the way I needed to in order to actually get credit for going through the checkpoint. So now we need to drive in reverse, find the checkpoint. This does not have the wave race system of, like, crediting you, like, you know, like giving like a certain buffer where you're allowed to miss like 1 or 2 buoys or what have you. Nope, if you miss a checkpoint, you gotta go all the way back. I should mention the steering here is some of the absolute worst in any driving game ever made. Just the control in general. And there is damage to your car. There is a sort of model for your car taking damage and eventually blowing up if you lose all your health. Luckily, that is remedied by tapping the R button, which will immediately repair you on the spot. It'll cost you some credits, which you're earning for running into enemies and pulling off sick stunts. So you can basically just keep mashing that R button the entire way through to keep your car in pristine condition. Just so long as you're remembering to hit enemies. Or not even enemies, they're not doing anything to us. That said, if your enemies would be the other racers, I guess, in a game like this, right? In this context. The European release of this game has some differences in the physics model. It controls a little tighter. I think it actually controls worse, like so much stiffer to the point of like being unplayable. So you pick your poison. You either have like wild swings for turns, or you have like basically nothing. I can't even tell what place we're in right now, how many cars are ahead of us. Not that the other cars are even racing per se. They're kind of just doing their own thing. People are now noticing the Comic Sans as the font of choice, as the font du jour. Okay, good. I was worried we'd miss another checkpoint somehow, but we're in the clear. We have some camera control. We can do first person if we want to make ourselves sick here. It's a little too close to the ground to where it's completely impractical. So we'll stick with this. We have a button to respawn us if we go out of bounds. Always the mark of a quality game is a game that just immediately is a button that sets you back a few feet just on command. So far I've not had to use that. If we go off-road here, you will absolutely have to, though. You can see our opponents are still taking the race very seriously. Let's hit one of these. That'll do some damage to us. Nothing tapping the R button won't fix, though. Are we going to come in first or second here? That is the question. People saying they like this on PC a lot. Well, yeah, of course. It's not. I wouldn't say Carmageddon was ever like particularly great, but it is certainly better on its original platform. That was Race 1. The name of that track was Nice Beaver. You know, innuendo. This is Rocky 2, and this is where it all falls apart for me. This is where I lose complete track of the plot. Or the racetrack, for that matter. Rio D saying the new Carmageddon is decent now. I know it's a game that's in early access, correct? Oh! Can we, there we go. Tap the L button to get out of that situation where we were stuck on the wall there and could not negotiate it. Let's just reverse the whole way through here. It's going to be difficult about it. And I think that opponent is taken care of. They've gone so far off track at this point. You can also, if you want to, if the racing doesn't appeal to you, which, heaven forbid, perish the thought, you can also just kill all the zombies and that'll immediately end the race as well, so you have choices. Dynamic tracks here. This is very stop and start racing, as you can tell. Like every time you're rounding a corner, your best policy is to just completely like hit the brakes. don't like this part of the map at all. Also, like, where would you assume you had to go here? They should have arrows, like, more frequently. They should have, like, more signposting telling you, like, what direction is ideal, I think. Maybe that's just me. Maybe y'all are having a much easier time parsing this than I am. These are big maps. There's a lot to them. So much of it is completely unnecessary, though. So much of it requires you, like, going way off the track and, like, basically forfeiting the race, and jeez Louise. Did we just screw ourselves? I believe we did. Luckily we can just hit that recovery button twice and put ourselves back on the actual track. Oh, it's so sticky. It's so easy to end up going, like, up the wall. You have to approach every single turn with, like, your full senses at all times and your full appreciation. You gotta respect every single corner. So what place did we come in? Does it even matter? Apparently first. Apparently that was good enough. Alright, Beaver City. In keeping with the beaver theming here. Nice beaver, Rocky 2. City Slicker, that's right. We're in the beaver region right now.
5, 4, 3, 2.
People suggesting since you have infinite health. I'll be clear, we don't have infinite health. We just have the ability to repair ourselves at every juncture. Suggesting we destroy the other cars. I don't know, I feel like these other cars do a plenty fine job of not even attempting to complete the race. This is effectively like big rigs. This is effectively not a race. This is effectively just you pass those checkpoints at your leisure, or, you know, within the constraints of the time limit. From what I hear, some of the later stages do end up not giving you anywhere near enough time. And the fact we're barely seeing any zombies in this one leads me to believe that the goal here is to put in work and actually try to do this like a real race. Is this exciting at all to watch? I know we're hemorrhaging viewers at this point. I know people came here for the Demolition Man, though, so that's fair enough if people aren't particularly riveted by this really bad N64 racer. But, I could always go to our second place. I could always do... Wait, are we going the right way? I think we are. I could always switch to Fugitive Hunter. We can begin playing that. I would definitely say continue asking questions any you might have and give me something to talk about here. Give me something to stimulate my brain as I'm rapidly mashing the R button and sort of half-committedly looking at this. People asking where are the other cars? Probably stuck in a corner somewhere. Probably veered off the track and have zero hope of recovering and getting back on it. Oh, maybe we picked up mines at some point. Oh, fuck it. Just recover. Oh, actually, you know what? There we go. 2 happy customers. 3 of them, even. How do I actually drop the mines? There we go. Let's see if we have any difficulty overtaking this dude again. Was at one store supposed to be a blockbuster in the background? Frapply Fiasco saying they don't mind watching this, but they would wouldn't mind seeing the other game because they would like to say they haven't heard of it. Fugitive Hunter, War on Terror. I'll tell you what, it's a treat, that much is for sure. We're gonna have to write an article about that one soon, after certain revelations have been made about one of the developers, about the president of the studio, Black Ops Entertainment, responsible for that game. Oh, we got some sweet air there, but unfortunately, it also meant that we didn't complete the race on the moment that we should have. We basically bypassed the checkpoint, basically bypassed the goalpost. So, it behooved us to turn back around. And this is what I wanted to get to at the very least. That between every 3 races, you get a mission, which is basically just another race, but it gives them an excuse to reuse one of the pre-existing tracks. There's also these bits of dialogue. I'm the fastest, I'm the hardest, I'm the better, no one can beat me. Faster, harder, better, stronger, unbeatable. I'm the last one to drive. I just gotta beat that time limit or I'm never gonna get off this zombie-infested planet. Well, we know this track. As difficult as it was to parse. Now we don't even have to deal with any opponents on the track either. Just spend that recovery cost. Rather eat that than waste precious time. Who knows how much of it we have. They have slightly reconfigured and rejiggered the arrows where the goalposts are, so on and so forth. Oh! Well, how was I supposed to know that's what they wanted me to do there? Good enough. Yeah, I cheated there because I probably just I could have used the recover button actually. That's what I should have done, but Video Game King saying, this game is more interesting as an object of study than as a play experience, but even ignoring that stuff, that's entirely me. And the other Karma Guns would serve the purpose of, like, viewing much better. You're probably right about that. Let me just complete this mission, then I will, switch over to some Fugitive Hunter. I'll have to intermission briefly if we did that, though. But I think it's well worth it, because that's a game that we definitely are going to want to let people know that we're playing Fugitive Hunter as opposed to more Carmageddon. So I want to make a Twitter announcement about it real quick, and then I would also want to get my emulator set up and ready to be recorded off of. That's some PS2 emulation. Turns out we didn't need the turbo to do that jump after all. Can we get through this without getting stuck on the walls? No. Basically, that sentence was doomed the second the words came out of my mouth. The second I even thought about it. The repair button should just repair all your damage. Instead, it heals like small increments. So, hence the need to rapidly press it. Oh, we're not supposed to be here. We found the lunar gravity power-up, though, which is actually just more of a curse than anything. So let's just hit that recover button twice. Let's eat that fee and get out of that no man's land. As I was saying, half the power-ups are more a curse than they are anything else. Like miniature zombies, that just makes it harder to hit the zombies. But luckily, all the power-ups, or power-downs as they were, are static, so if you know where they appear on the map, you can memorize what their functions are as well. This will be turbo again, so if we can even, not that we need it. Shut up. Alright, this race is more or less in the bag, isn't it? I didn't even check how much time we had left on the clock, but it's largely irrelevant. There we go, that was some damn Carmageddon 64 for all y'all. Not the most exciting game, but very, very bad. Not recommended playing. It was not worth the 2 hours I spent trying to get it even up and running without, like, egregious audio issues. Woof. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's close out of that. I've not used this graphic in forever. I've not ever had to actually do an intermission midstream before, I don't think. Give me 5 minutes, and I will be back with Fugitive Hunter War on Terror after I update the stream info and stuff. Alright, we should be back in it at this point. Let me also update the stream information while this demo loop goes on. This is Fugitive Hunter War and Terror. If you live in Europe, you may know this as America's 10 Most Wanted. Either way, it's a hell of a game. This came out in 2003, and release of this game was deeply influenced by the September 11th terrorist attacks. This game is kind of the ultimate in, how you say, revenge fantasy. We will be tracking Osama down over the course of this game, in addition to multiple other fugitives who need to be hunted. Hopefully, all this stream update stuff goes through all right. There we go. First things first, before we even get into the gameplay, I like to go right to the special features to show off some of the sweet videos they have, some of the sweet extra they have packed on this disc. First, the game's commercial spots. Mr. Ree, the name of the rapper responsible for this track. Creators of this game, Black Ops Entertainment, this development began in the late 90s, and then when 9/11 happened, they thought about canceling the game for a minute, but then decided to come back with a vengeance. And this is another game where we're going to shift between perspective. We're going to switch between first-person shooting and really bad fighting. So, other games you may know the studio for include the worst version of The World Is Not Enough, 007 The World Is Not Enough, and a slew of other really middling to bad first-person shooters, if you ask me. If you like that theme song, though, I'm going to go ahead and drop some more freestyles from Mr. Ree on you. His freestyling to our game's beats was caught on tape. Nah. Honestly, his pop and locking is better than his freestyle, for those of you who are not versed in the rap game. This is what the kids would call whack. I'm just letting this play out. I'm sorry, y'all. You have to suffer this. You have to suffer this along with me. Wow, he's very multicultural. He's very multi-ethnicity there. Who's who in this map? Like, could I freestyle as good? No, of course not. But, you can, like, find dudes on the street who would put this dude to shame. Huh? I mean, it doesn't help that we're like getting only like half of what he's saying because the other half is getting censored and bleeped out. But I don't think we're missing anything there. All right, there's a director's commentary for the game. It is not this like it doesn't enable any setting where you're getting like commentary throughout the game. Instead, it's just like it's sort of like a highlight reel of the game where the directors the game creators sort of give you like some impressions of like the level design. So it's actually sort of interesting in that regard. You get sort of like some inspiration for where the settings for where they photograph, where they got video from, and designing the levels and stuff. So that's a sort of a valuable tool. But what I'm really looking for is the secret video here, and this is really going to elucidate and back up some of the stuff I was saying earlier. So we're going to give this a solid listen. I want everyone to actually pay attention to this one. I know it's easy to zone out during the freestyle, but...
It's interesting. Back in 1998, when I started really digging back into the design and going on FBI.gov on the website to see what kind of fugitives were out there and what kind of prices were on their heads, back then Bin Laden was the most wanted fugitive in the world. This is shortly after the embassy bombings in Tanzania and East Africa. At the time, I remember printing out the indictment for Bin Laden, and it was about this thick. I basically read all about this Al-Qaeda, the base or whatever, and I didn't really know what it was all about until I started doing the research for this game. Time would go by and I'd see things like, discover different things, like they tried to fly a plane into the Eiffel Tower in 1995, but the terrorists didn't know how to fly planes. 96, the bombings in Iran, 98, the dual simultaneous bombings in East Africa of the United States embassies. And then in 1999, you had the Cole, you had in 2000 the guy trying to sneak the bomb material across the Canadian border to blow up LAX. They had already bombed the World Trade Center in 1993. So when I saw planes flying into buildings, I realized that they were finishing the job. We give a lot of thought to actually, I don't know, maybe canceling the game because we were hunting fugitives. It wasn't a terrorist hunting game. In other words, you hunt fugitives that are wanted for 10 grand or 15 grand. And, you go all the way up. A RICO guy, a Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, a mob guy, for example, is wanted for maybe $250,000. A guy that bombs a health clinic is wanted for maybe $1 million. So, we had actually considered, because we're from New York, we actually had a section in the game in Exchange Place, New Jersey, with the Twin Towers in the background. We'd actually gone out in February of 2001 and shot the towers specifically for Fugitive Hunter. We kind of just paused for a couple of weeks and just didn't, we didn't know what to do. And what we wound up doing is really what President Bush said, is just carry on with your lives. Continue. Do not let these people interfere with our liberty. And so we basically took out the Exchange Place in New York levels for respect, obviously, and we continued with our game. So if you want to go and kick the crap out of the Al-Qaeda guys, if you want to burn them, if you want to blow them up, if you want to smoke them out of their holes and caves in Afghanistan, then go ahead and play Fugitive Hunter. It'll be out soon, and I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely been an experience.
And so that's just that's John Body, just letting you know how how 9/11 affected him personally, where he thought he may even have to cancel the game briefly. So these are clearly trying times for him. Luckily, the game came out, and now he's a 9/11 truther who believes the towers were part of an orchestrated bombing effect or whatever. So everything there, he no longer believes. He no longer believes that Osama bin Laden was responsible for fucking blowing up the towers, or for that plot. So he's come a long way, let's say. In recent years, he's basically gone and lost his fucking mind. He has a YouTube channel that is fascinating viewing. He still kind of dabbles in video games. He's more interested in blockchain than anything right now, than actual games. So I'm pointing out the Dr. Quandary banner. You're very welcome. So now we can get into the actual game. I just needed to give that context for all that. And no, Osama bin Laden's game is not censored. We are getting the real names of some real terrorists in this game. But let's just dive right in.
I've got a visual
LZ Raven. We're taking fire. Surface air weapons inbound. Mayday, mayday. We've been hit. Prepare for impact. Fox 1, this is Sierra 5. Crew of 5 didn't make it. I'm the only survivor.
Inauspicious opening. Maybe not the most inspiring opening.
Proceed to LZ Blue Jay for extraction. We've got to make it quick. Roger that, I'll be there.
So this opening stage is all about putting all the guns in your hands straight away. We're also going to backtrack a little bit. You know, we're going to get an idea of what our arsenal is going to be for the rest of the game. So let's start by going down here. It's a game I'm very familiar with, and also developer I'm familiar with, where all their games sort of feel the same at a certain point. Oh, they did the Terminator 3 game. Or one of them. There was 3 Terminator 3 games. They did the FPS and/or fighting game one, based on this engine, based on similar conceits, based on that idea of mixing genres. Oh, I don't actually need to shoot that, do I? I can just walk past it. I remember that there was that extra light. Oh, no, they... Alright, well, they sort of took care of what I was trying to do there. Yeah, 2 RPGs couldn't knock that down, but these idiots blindly firing their AKs could.
This is crazy.
We get some Duke Nukem-esque commentary from our player character here. He, of course, he has nothing quite as inspired as the likes of Duke, as the likes of John St. John, but, you know, he has comments, he has stuff to say. How do I get the scope going again? Ah, whatever.
Oh boy.
What I want to do is, I know there's a sniper that I'm going to want to take care of. We can go to an inventory screen to look at our weapons and switch between them. We can also, at a certain point, I don't know if we have anything right now, but switch between different types of ammo as well. So there's some systems that play here. Right, L2 is crouch, L1 is jump. I gotta remind myself of how this game controls. Briefly, triangle is gonna switch weapons. Huh. Oh, there's a quick turn button. That seems tangentially useful. Control options. This would probably be the way to do it. We can center view that way. Oh, the D-pad, of course. Except they accidentally switched. Ah, let's do it this way. There's one button to cycle through weapons, and I don't feel like cycling through my entire inventory 5 times over every time I wanna. Alright, there we go. Now we don't gotta worry about the sniper rifle at all for the rest of this level. Let's make progress.
Just what I was looking for.
Here, this is the one weapon we were missing from our arsenal. The dragon. You know, flamethrowers, standard military issue. And since it has no range, it's effectively a useless weapon, so we'll switch back to something, anything else. Minor jumping for a minor secret here. I wonder what this little... We get some micro stutters every, like, minute or so. I wonder what that's about. Hopefully it's not too... Just hopefully it's not too distracting or whatever. Grabbing all these extra lives while we still can. I'm gonna let that call go to voicemail. Because there he is. There's the big bad himself. Hence this game has lives and continues and so forth. We're not quite ready to fight Osama yet. But you can take out one of his cronies. And if you've been watching this stream since we were playing Demolition Man earlier, switching genres on the fly sort of become the inadvertent theme of today's stream here. Alright, I should be doing the combo moves, which is just to say we should be pressing buttons at the same time as one another to do moves that are infinitely more effective than any of the standard attacks. There we go, that's our prologue. And the progression will be a little different for the rest of the game. We won't get access to all those weapons again for a minute. Oh, giving away that we're playing this on emulator in the top left corner. Is there a way to make PCSS2 not show those notifications? I swear I've looked for it before and not found it. Alright, so here we go. Now we've done the prologue. We can look at this sort of level select, as it were. Let's go right for Osama, right?
Osama bin Laden is the known leader and highest-ranking member of the Al-Qaeda terrorist organization.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Responsible for the funding
and
operation of the group.
Yeah, I can't quite skip ahead, unfortunately, so we do get an idea of the split between people who made up for the game and there's very real Osama bin Laden there. I think there might be a couple here who are actually based off of real people as well, but I know the other version of the game also swaps Osama bin Laden now for some other character. He'll mention that Steve Jobs, under his alias Lucas Acker, yeah. What a sad end he met. Taken down by the fugitive hunter.
Was an accomplice in a series of murders and bank robberies.
So I don't remember if the game explains this at this point, but since our military days, we've come back home. It's been some years since that mission went south, since shit hit the fan, and now we are part of an anti-terrorist task force bounty hunting something or other.
Move fast and we'll be able to capture him and his second in command, Jamal Richardson. Radio me when you've got Weber. Roger that, Alpha One.
Give me your freaking money. I ain't got no money, bro.
So intimidating. Alright, so we have a trank gun.
Bust you up. Oh, you gonna bust me up? We'll see about that. Come on, bring it. Coming in this time. You like that?
We can use that trank gun to temporarily stun these guys and enter the fighting mode against them. When it comes to people that we're trying to cash in on, we're trying to get money for bringing them in alive. Everyone else we can mow down with reckless abandon, but
Party's over for the possum, pal. Who's tough now, Jamal? Up against the wall. Oh.
Alpha 1, this is Sierra 5. Fugitive is in custody at my location. Proceeding to next target.
Roger that, Sierra 5. I understand. Proceed to next target.
what an intimidating, what a badass we have as a protagonist here. Anyway, as soon as we can get rid of that dart gun, let's get our hands on a pistol here.
Looks like Weber's been working with someone in Utah.
Jesus, that dude survived like a full-on explosion behind him. That's impressive stuff. And then a shot to the chest. You have to double tap him. So, you know, this whole urban level set, let's say. I'm not sure how on the level this is. I do know John Botti, the game director, is very white, very Italian, so for whatever that may be worth to you. We do get a double-barreled shotgun, though, and that's enough to get me engaged. That's enough to make me happy and smile right now, so I would put that to use more than the damn grenade launcher, to be honest. Minor jumping involved here, There is some, like...
I'll blow you away, pal.
Very cool. Not platforming involved, but, you know, you'll occasionally have to jump on top of something to grab an item that they sort of, like, hid on top of something else. Super shotgun, this is not. I've used worse video game shotguns. If you hit with both barrels, it's alright, but, Chat saying they haven't been to Utah. Is it known for being this urban heat of darkness this game thinks it is, says Bobinator? Well, you know, if you haven't been there, you can't say for sure. This is John Body's world. We're just living in it. I think this is more a case of John Body trying to bring that New York urban aesthetic and just assuming the rest of the world's gotta be like New York. What's a state that's not imitating New York doing with itself? If you're not trying to be the best, if you don't got the Yankees, what do you got? What agency does this douchebag work for? This might be an illegal operation, says Paul Quadruple S. You may be onto something. Whoop. Yet more secrets. Top off her health. Not particularly, like, difficult geometry to navigate here. It's just, I'm not used to... I'm so used to, like, higher FOVs than this. I'm kind of, like, getting used to the FOV right now. I thought the dude, like, shrugged off the shot at first, but, just a staggered animation is all. He was in the middle of some other animation that had to play out first. Animation priority. Video Game King says, if you're gonna play one piece of evidence that America was predisposed to fascism well before 2016, make it this one. Yeah, it's fine a choice as any.
Who's that over there? Don't shoot, man. I got no beef with you, dog.
Where's Weber at?
You after Webb? I'll tell you where he at. Give me some money, dog.
Here's some cash.
I'll give you the key to the warehouse.
Now get out of here.
What an amicable exchange. So I don't know if he's supposed to be an informant, or if we just turned informant in the middle of all this. Game's kind of unclear as to the details of that, but you know, it's always good to have some help. Digging the soundtrack so far, by the way. Is the main character supposed to be a Tom Cruise parody? For legal reasons, we cannot discuss that, but probably not. Oh, this game has power-ups too. I completely forgot about this element of it. Definitely completely useless here. Definitely of no benefit to us here. There's barely any enemies around, but the ones who are around clearly are not blessed with the AI. That is the wimpiest delivery of "see ya" I have ever heard. You could not have said that any whiter. See ya? I'm out of insightful commentary, by the way. I used all that up during Demolition Man, and I barely had any for that, so, Did he just sort of, like, tween up the stairs? That's an impressive trick. Bolted from the inside. Take that as a hint. Take that as a clue. I swear, the first time I played this game, I missed this ladder like a dozen times over. And I had to find a video to sort of guide me through. But, it's not even that poorly telegraphed, I guess. That's on me, more than anyone. Whoops. Not my most effective mine. Not my most effective grenade use. You know, the double barrel wasn't going to cut it for that, so...
Some help.
Well, I swear, I thought we had the key. Or do I have to... Do one of these guys have the key that I... Did I do something out of sequence? Did I do something out of sorts here? Can I jump to there from here? It has been a minute, I admit it. Fuck it, I'm just gonna jump for it, see what happens. Well, at least there's no fall damage. At least that brings us right back here. That door's still going to be locked, obviously. Maybe I do have to jump across in some form or fashion. Yeah, there's all sorts of goodies over there that I want to get my hands on. Here we go. See, we get upgrades for our weapons and everything. I think these are actually consistent. I think these do actually carry across levels, so we're starting to build ourselves a new arsenal here. Could be misremembering that detail. It has been a minute since I played this game. It's looking like our key is not here, unfortunately. So we have not made progress on the progress front, per se. Can't pick up that tall boy. This game seems really easy. I'm playing it on hard, too, for whatever that's worth. Game may be easy, but, or the shooting may be easy, but finding this damn key is going to be a challenge. I'm glad we got a scope in our grenade launcher, though, for as fucking useful as that is. You can put a scope in my shotgun, too, while we're at it. That way you can really see the people up close. I guess I just don't get putting scopes on the likes of that. The likes of, like, a grenade launcher or shotgun. At least in a video game. I'm sure if you're hunting and you're using, like, slugs in your shotgun or whatever... Do I maybe need to, like, destroy this or something?
So much for those weapons. Oh my god.
What was that oh my god for? Oh, that's... yeah, okay. See, that was an objective I had to do, then that unlocked the door. It wasn't a matter of having a key or not, that was a matter of... Well, we had the key. It was a door locked with a key, but you get what I'm getting at here. As a matter of fact, I am some sort of cop or something. To be clear, I'm not clear on the details either. Your guess is as good as mine, random thug I have blown away already and I'm talking to from beyond the grave. Oh, that was me. Okay, we gotta hold down on this ladder. And that parses, that makes sense. You know, as far as the game being very easy, there's another game of this ilk, of this kind of conceit. Quest for Saddam is one I've floated as a potential stream candidate before, as well as its unofficial version, its unofficial localization as Quest for Bush. Basically a game by largely ultra-conservative sort of folk who, you know, love the flag, love America, and hate those terrorists and want to give you a means of, you know, getting your revenge for various acts of terror that have been committed upon us.
Yeah, I'll blow you away, pal.
In this case, it's Osama. In Quest for Saddam, it's obviously Ted Bundy. No, it's Saddam Hussein. But, you know, and they're not particularly difficult games. This one, that one. And so we are getting pretty low on health right now. I would appreciate some body armor, potentially. But if we play, like, just slightly safe, I think we should be fine. Oh! Well, that serves me right. And luckily it continues spawn you right back in place, or one-up put you right in place, Doom Eternal style. Was that some friendly fire? Was that some infighting there? That dude was dying as we approached, as we were walking up, so... These enemies can friendly fire. I can't go there yet. Well, let us know when game, and I will be happy to. Because I would love to get out of here and get in there. Jesus is right. Where is all this coming from? Oh, I see. You're at least part of the problem. There was someone going ham with a grenade launcher, though. Or maybe just tossing grenades.
Yeah, I'll blow you away, pal.
I think we solved the combat puzzle here. That's that. I did spot this body armor and I want it. Oh, now we have a scope for our, oh, we have a scope. We had a scope. Now we have a silencer. The most useless addition to this, to our arsenal. This is not a game about going silent, in case you have not figured as much out. Alright, cool. So let's go take on the final boss of this section. He's not the final boss, he's just a boss. Hopefully his door will open at this point. Not yet. Can we see through the windows to see who's in there? See the no one inside, apparently. They're just gonna keep spawning dudes, though, huh? Is there some objective we're missing? Oh, I see. There's another weapon shipment we gotta take care of. Alright, so what's that gonna look like? Is it gonna look like the case full of guns that we saw before? Up close and personal is the quip attached to using the scope, which is basically the opposite. When you're using a scope, that's actually the opposite of being up close and personal. That's actually far away and indifferent is a more appropriate choice, I would say. It came back to me as I was heading down the stairs that that's what they wanted me to hit. Those nondescript cases of whatever. Alright, now I know. Maybe I switched my guns too soon. You are strong, sir. So dark guns have no effect on the regular baddies. These guys are instantly susceptible.
I'm gonna kick your ass. If that is it, let's get this over with. Bring it on. Going back to jail, Weber. Saber, you ain't
Clearly this is personal beef for,
Thug with a bang. Come on, brother. Going back to jail, Weber. Bring it on.
Oh, we got comboed that time. We may lose this fight. The animation here is top notch. I was waiting for the fall at the end of that, but also, this occurred to me, does he have a robotic arm, or is that just like his future sleeve? I know he's blocking, but it gives me time to think. As long as he's stuck in a block routine, I can at least think about what my next moves will be. The button mashing is where I do best. That's my strong suit there.
Take a walk, Weber. Seaver, you ain't all that. You just a thug with a badge. Watch your step. Come on, man.
And there you go. There's your police brutality for the, Did lose. I did concede 2 lives over the course of that, but, you know, can't all be perfect. So, as you'll see, we generally tend to take out 2 dudes over the course of every given mission. So that's prologue, 1 mission, 2 mission, 3 mission, 4, 5, and then we'll stop him in Landa's zone. So there's 6 stages in this game.
Charles Marcus has been linked to over 20 homicides in the western United States. Several of Marcus's victims were...
Yeah, I don't care about the fluff. I don't care about the details here. Back to Utah we go.
Evidence from domestic bombings have led to this militia group run by Lucas Aker. They've been supplying terrorists with explosive devices. Aker's right-hand man is Charles Marcus, a wanted contract killer. Capture Marcus on your way to getting Aker. Be on guard down there, Sierra.
Start the level by trying to backtrack. No, we can't. Okay, so no, the arsenal does not carry over. I was mistaken in that assessment from before. Oh, and because we had no body armor, we go down pretty quick. Yeah, so that armor is pretty essential in our survival, as it turns out. The sooner we can find some, the better. I would maybe choose to start with something else besides a shotgun for this kind of deal. There we go. We juked him. Oh, I think I may have shot the hostage there by accident. That or I just took damage.
Too slow.
That said, there's probably definitely a penalty for shooting the hostages, right? There's gotta be goodies up here for us. Oop, that looks like a nasty piece of work. Is that an objective to shoot these? Eliminate window henchmen holding hostages. I don't know if I can use that or if I should blow it up. Probably blow it up. Before one of them gets the idea to use it, right? These look like discarded Duke Nukem Forever assets. Says chat, says Codeman. Not Codeman, says Paul Quadruple S. Never forget, baby. I'm getting word that the last level may not have taken place in Utah. That the last level may have been Florida, whereas this is our Utah level. Whoa, that's some shaky construction. They almost dropped it on their boss there. This militia group should learn to be more careful. Oh, there we go. I missed this one. Where have you been the past 10 minutes, double-barreled shotgun? Past 2 minutes, more like. You get the idea. Not that we need it right now, though. Let's
get up close and personal.
Again, it's not up close and personal when you're firing from far away. I don't know how many times I need to explain that to our generic protagonist here. I'm sure he has a name. Oh, he's shaking. He's quivering. And rightfully so. Why, with tactics like that, it's a wonder that militia groups even need to exist at all.
Every shot counts.
I swear I'm better at FPS when it's not on a console. There is a PC version of this. I played this PS2 version several times over, but I've never played the PC version. I should probably do that if I'm going to write an article about it. I don't think we want to go there yet. I think we want to muck about a bit first and collect some extra stuff. You know, for completion's sake. I think it might also be necessary to kill everyone in a window. Oh, well. Should also be cognizant of the fact that they can... We got some armor, that's all that matters. This'll do us just fine for the time. Except they spawn a bunch of new dudes in. And I can't see how much armor I have left when I'm in the scope view. Which is a failing of... Or, you know, I guess it's fair you can't see your HUDs up stuff. Except you can see the radar. Are you hostage? No.
Every shot counts.
Yeah, I'm lucky these dudes are... Okay. Great. Yeah, you can really cheese these boys. Bummer for them, good for us. Oh, did that tumbleweed just like phase through? Oh, yep, they sure do. Come on, show me one more time. Give me a couple more tumbleweeds. That's all I ask. Yeah, there we go. That's the good stuff. I think I may need to like turn the camera to get it to happen, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, when you have scenery effects like that, you gotta be careful that they you put collision on certain things. I believe there's a minor jumping puzzle involved here. I say I call it a puzzle, but
Take a nap. Nap time.
oh, you know what? Here's the gimmick. We do get to keep our weapons between levels, or we get to keep our upgrades between levels. We just can't keep the weapon on us. Once you pick it back up, though, we get it fully kitted out again. You can tell I was trying to do a silent approach there, trying to be sneaky a bit, but I don't think the melee actually kills people. I think it just stuns them temporarily. Let's do some more jumping. Oh, let's actually go in here first, is what we should do. We have enough of that item, whatever that item is. Do we really need to know what it is? I don't think so. Lazy J Saloon, my favorite watering hole, as they call it.
You're just a kid. And you're just a contract killer. Yo, man, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Not so bad, Marcus.
Again, inspired dialogue. That kick super combo does not seem very good. It seems like actually getting it to where they don't block it seems particularly difficult. It has like a wind up to it. And here I prove that I'm not good at fighting games still. And not much has improved. I used to get to see these awesome win poses, I suppose. Maybe the basics are best when it comes to... Yeah, I feel like the blocks don't really work. Oh, there we go. Second time is the charm when it comes to these fights. Bob Mayer asks, does this have a two-player mode? Can you run this at Evo? Unfortunately not. Fugitive Hunter is a lonely game. I'll kick him in the head for good measure. Why not, right?
Have a drink. Watch your head. Spend your last years in camp.
Alpha 1, this is Sierra 5. Fugitive is in custody of my location.
Oh, oh, oh! Thought it was safe to take a drink, but I forgot there were still dudes in the saloon despite all the fun we were having there. There's still like enemies to deal with. They were waiting patiently for us to do the fight part. Did that dude drop his gun? I mean, I'll take it. Oh, this is brutal. I was not expecting to actually, like, exhaust so many of our lives over the course of this. This game may be not as easy as we wrote it off as initially. I feel like the armor is very overpowered and that our health is not to be taken lightly. Yeah, geez Louise, huh? Maybe I'm also just, like, tired. I spent a lot of time trying to get Carmageddon to work just to end up not playing Carmageddon because it's boring. So I'm not operating at my full mental capacity at this current juncture, possibly. Hoping there's like a 1-up or something around here. Hoping there's some reward for taking the road less traveled. There's only one speedrun in this game, according to the Doing King. It's by Linkums, and it's 29 minutes long. Well, I don't know if I'll be contesting that time anytime soon. I can't go there yet. Oh, why not? Pray tell why. Eliminate window henchmen holding hostages. I mean, they don't show that on the radar, do they? They just show... We must have missed one earlier in the level. And not been gate kept back then. Luckily, there's this handy-dandy ladder. We can backtrack as far back as we need to. Back to the beginning of the stage, even. Where I'm sure the game is fully thinking that I'm gonna go right now. How did we get here? I know it's a hole in the ground or something. It seems like completely... Oh, there we go. God, just let us skip an objective. Let us get away with it. Give us a demerit or something for not doing the game, like... doing everything the game wants us to do. Or do it like, the GoldenEye remake did it, where you can miss an objective and then, like, for not doing the higher level objectives. The game like effectively bumps you back down to like the easier difficulty or whatever. I'm not talking like original GoldenEye style, I'm talking about that GoldenEye remake that isn't super great. God, the hunt. And they call us the Fugitive Hunter, but they should call us the Objective Hunter for how much we're having to hunt for the objective. Woof.
Nice.
Hey, whatever, we got an extra continue at least, so, you know, to keep on playing this. At least I see a radar blip at this point. That does not appear to be the end of level radar blip. Yep, sure enough, it was literally the very beginning of the fucking level.
Not so bad.
Whew. Thunder Rock. Founded by Little Bill, Leadbiter. Population 3,069. Not after we're done here. You know, at least it's given us time to bond together, to jam out to this sick beat. You know, this wasn't all bad having to backtrack to the very beginning of this fucking level. You know, at least levels are small enough. God help me if there's like some other objectives keeping us from crossing the threshold here. Enter upper militia compound. Yeah, but we're going down. Climb down a rope. Like it's this upper relative to there's lower levels to this, right?
Somebody's getting whacked.
Ah, so much for sneaking up on him. I was hoping I could use the silence pistol to take him out from afar, but not an effective sniping weapon, as it turns out. Well, definitely don't want to go down there yet. Not until I'm absolutely sure I've cleared any possible objectives out of this area. I do not want to suffer having to climb up a ladder. This song sounds like part of like a morning news broadcast team sound package.
Take some of that.
Sounds like we're about to hear about local sports and weather. I don't know, I don't hate the soundtrack to this game or anything. I reckon it's probably the high point of this game. For whatever that's worth. That's C4, I'm assuming that's gotta go bye-bye. Weren't we talking on the stream the other day about how you can't really shoot C4, how it's not actually how C4 detonates, how it's a chemical compound? Is this something we have to defuse or do anything about? Probably not, right? I'm gonna assume that this is on the level we can just let sleeping bomb carts with flashing lights lie. God, I hope so, because I do not want to do any more backtracking. I've got a little bit of a hiccup there. That's alright, we'll recover from that. I was wondering when that guy was gonna finally die. That's a very tropical, like, instrumentation on this track here. What are they, marimbas?
Up close and personal.
Every time I try to get stealth going, I said, if I'm going directly for the headshots, this is actually pretty decently effective. The strategy I have worked out here. Oh, but didn't grab that gun in time. Could have gotten a little bit more ammo going, but we'll have to make do.
Looks like their major supplier is an offshore company, somewhere in the Caribbean.
By the way, all these levels are linked together. All these cases we go on are linked together. We're finding evidence that leads us to each next state, or each next location. The Caribbean's obviously not a state, but you get what I mean. Hence why we find the Utah papers in the first level, which took place in Florida. We're finding Caribbean papers here. Not particularly clever setup, but you know, it's good to have it and not have it at all. Now we got a silencer, we got a suppressor for Car 4, so I'm going to keep switching to that pistol. The pistol's effectively useless now.
Silent and deadly.
Yeah, this does seem to be an altogether more effective approach to combat. I don't know if it's particularly exciting to watch, but I don't think this game is in general, so I said let's get out of it because I don't know how much damage I'm taking right now. And I realized I was taking fire from multiple sides. And I realized I'm about to forfeit another life in a second here. Pete's sake. That many more shots. He just got down a second sooner. Pistol might still be more effective for headshots, just on virtue of it not having that recoil. If it were setting back to 0 after you fire every shot.
Just what I was looking for.
Is that everything? Alright, on to the final part of this level. Let's check our inventory. Let's see what we got. What toys. Oh, for fuck's sake, we have first aid kits we can just like use at any time we want to. Forgot about those completely. Alright, so we see our equipment, we see our weapons. Give me the enforcer for this. Yeah, that was actually pretty effective. So pistol, you're not off the hook yet. We can still find uses for you. We can still find excuses to pull you out every now and again. I wanted to just jump down, but now something about not wanting to break our legs. Oh, we got the theme song on the fucking rotation now.
Silent and deadly.
Will we get the lyrics too? Or is this just the instrumental version? This guy seems oblivious to what is, oh, that's an automated sentry, that's why. Oh, well. What good is a video game silencer if it's not completely silencing your shots? I want to operate devoid of any sort of realism. Is there some sort of secret to kill on this stupid thing? Nope, looks like we just trade health with it. At least we know now about those, so we can keep our health topped off a little bit.
Oh my god.
Alright, I felt that oh my god coming from our player character, seeing that dude dive and shoot dodge apropos of nothing. Wish there was just a quick key for using these first aid kits, but again, not award-winning AI we're dealing with here, to say the least.
There you go.
Not a point of praise from critics. This game was generally disliked, which, you know, appropriately so. You don't expect critics to be more taken in by this game, and the jingoism and whatnot, but for their part, critics play this one straight down the middle. Call this game for what it is. Again, for the most part. I'm sure we can find exceptions. Let me open this door. I think we want to use 2, because I think we recharge 50 health per pack, so I'd rather top off completely than just go back out with 50% health or something. Gotta be some sort of key or something, right? That, or we're just ignoring the door that was more easily accessible, more readily there. Boo on me. Now that guy was whistling Dixie. That dude was completely out of the fucking loop. That was the guy who would go on to be the guy in the Metal Gear Solid 2 tanker who had Gak's name tag. He would just listen to music when he should have been doing his damn job. Trying to make more effective use of our lock-on. The button we press to auto-aim the camera towards the nearest enemy. Seems like it might come in handy.
Some Kevlar.
Anything else in this room worth collecting? I feel like I remember this room. I feel like there is something here that we need to...
This stuff was used in a health clinic bombing.
There we go. Alright, all that's left to do is Stinger missile shipment. Again, I ask, what would be the point of a silencer in this game? What's the point of having it? Anything else of note or interest in here? This is just some set dressing, effectively, making this place more feel more lived in. I know this game does not have its 4 stealth missions, luckily. Oh, what it does have is a chase sequence level. let's follow the objective marker here. Maybe there's stinger bomb parts in here that I neglected. Oh, for example.
So much for that shipment. Oh boy.
Yeah, so again, these objects don't really do much to stand out in the environment, but they expect you to be looking at your radar constantly to see. For example, there's something in here.
This should open the receiving room.
Well, these guys are being awfully nice. Awfully accommodating. You definitely strafe faster and you move forward in this game. There's probably a speed strafer. Some sort of strategy contingent on that. That's it, I need to be looking forward because these enemies do a number. Oh.
You're on the wrong side of the law, Seaver. You're in the wrong country. You're no patriot. You and your militia. It's sick. I'm taking you in over my dead body. So be it.
I always bring up that menu by accident. It's not that I need to keep refreshing myself on the controls, it's that when I button mash, which is the only way I play fighting games, I mash all the buttons all at once. L1, R1, face buttons, shoulder buttons, don't much matter to me. If there's a button, it's getting pressed. I feel like part of the strategy here is that you need to get hit to enable your super combo. Because those are what you want to be using. Those are your effective tools. Those are the best items in your arsenal.
Alpha 1, this is 05. I have the fugitive in custody. Request immediate evac on my location.
Also, it's occurred to me, is the main dude here, I know we joked about him looking at Tom Cruise before, but is he more based on John Body? Like, from afar, from like a profile view, it's striking me more like it's based on the game's director than it is based on celebrity likeness or what have you. Well, we have autosaves, don't need to do that actually. Do we keep playing? I'll do one more level. Just so we have an even 3-hour stream, possibly. Or you know what? Nah, we don't need to do that. That's arbitrary. What does that contribute to? Just to pad it out a bit longer. We'll come back to this. We'll finish this game off on stream at some later date, I think. Just so I can have all the footage for it sitting on my hard drive, just so I can use this as my excuse for capturing all the footage and not have to play it another time, not have to play it like a second time for the purpose of the article. That's what I feel like what probably the next article will be after Urban Yeti, if I don't do another shorter article in between or before Urban Yeti. I feel like getting into Fugitive Hunter because I want to cover John Body. I want to cover his descent into madness and his studio's descent into complete irrelevancy and the story surrounding this game and all those factors. I feel like there's a lot to it that can be we can mine a lot from it. Maybe I'll also do a Demolition Man article with the footage we have on hand now. I mean, no time for it like now, right? So, yeah, let's end the stream now. Let's bring it to a close for now. Thank y'all for joining. Oh, I'm seeing chat mentioning if you're doing Urban Yeti, you got a touch of Dual and Fireman. Don't worry, I have interviews lined up with people responsible for Dual and Fireman. There's going to be it's not just going to be Urban Yeti, it's not just going to be about the Game Boy Advance game, it's about Cave Barn Studios, it's about Run and Gun Studios, it's about their surfboarding game that sunk that earlier company, it's about the Church of the Subgenius. It's going to be a fucking behemoth of an article, and to be honest, it's an exhausting one to write and research for, so I'm trying to do more of these streams, and I'm trying to do some shorter articles in between, because yeah, it's a there's a lot to unpack. I have some exclusives. I got some scoops on Duel and Fireman, game that's been canceled, game that's been a subject of mystery that not a lot of info exists on. I'll bring some of it to light, but y'all are gonna have to be patient on that front because it's an endeavor. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this stream, though. Not to get too into detail on Urban yet, not to spoil too much of the surprise. So you'll have to wait and see with that. And you'll have to wait and see for us to come back with more Fugitive Hunter. I'll probably have to play a bit more Spyro before we get back to this, but I will finish this thread. I think we're already close to halfway through this game, for as short as this game is. Over the course of 1.5 hours, we've done it. This will probably be like a 3-hour, 4-hour playthrough tops. Whereas Enter the Dragonfly, I feel like still has 2 streams left in it. I think we reached the halfway point with that game where we last left that off. So expect that soonish. Expect Spyro soonish. And return to this maybe a few days afterwards. Maybe sometime later this week. But until then, I still don't have a good sign-off for this. We'll continue to workshop that. We'll continue to workshop having something to say at the end of these streams where I'm not just rambling incoherently and spinning my wheels. Bye, 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 bye.